Welcome to Breathing 101. And I know that sounds simple, and we've been breathing since the day we were born, but I think it's something that unfortunately we've forgotten how to do. Unless you're trained to play an instrument or sing, or you're an advanced practitioner on your yoga mat, breathing really is something that we need to learn how to cultivate and build awareness and also work up to. So what we'll be going through today are tools that you can use on the mat, but more importantly, off the mat, especially if things like anxiety or trouble sleeping, cortisol levels, trouble with weight loss, all of these things are going to be interconnected to breathing. So what you'll need, if you have it, is some kind of strap or belt. Even a TheraBand would work nicely for this exercise. If you don't have one, that is okay. Stay with us. And let's see if we can't figure this whole breathing thing out. I always got trucks driving by. Anytime I'm filming, it's like trucks. Okay. So I know some of my students have already done this with me, so this will serve as a nice refresher. I'm going to take whatever it is I'm using. I've got a yoga strap, and I'm going to tie it around my upper waist here. So I'm around the rib cage. I'm not at my waistline. I think if you are a fashionista, this would be an umpire waist. Am I right? So I'm going to do a double knot here so it's nice and snug. And there is a method to my madness for this. So I should feel a nice little snug, a nice little hug of whatever it is you're using around your rib cage. If you have trouble sitting on the floor cross-legged like me, sit up on a chair, or also a nice way to assist is to use a wall. So lean against a wall. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath. And I will tell you as a teacher, the first thing I noticed is my breath was all in here. I felt the shoulders come up and the expansion from above my belt. And what that's telling me is I was breathing wrong. You want to figure out your breathing pattern. And for most of us, it is a shallow chest breath, right? I'm breathing up here versus down here. Think of, I always use the analogy of a gazelle running on the Serengeti, like away from a lion because it's prey. It runs. But providing that it made it, 20 minutes later, that gazelle is grazing and completely calm and relaxed. It has this ability to reset and take you from that sympathetic flight or flight to parasympathetic, which is more of that rest and repair mechanism in our body. When we breathe here, we're sending a signal to our body, our sympathetic system, that there's something wrong. So if you can't sleep or your adrenals are off, right? How can your body calm down, repair, and reset itself if something is wrong? So this is the goal. This is a feedback loop to help us figure out how we're breathing. So I want you to think of trying to breathe in, bypass your belt, and see if you could breathe into your belly. Now, as the belly fills, can you feel the rise and the push outwards into your belt? And then as you exhale, think of dropping first from the top down. So the proper breathing pattern is to fill from the bottom up and then to exhale from the top down. I'm very guilty of this. I want you to be mindful of another thing as we breathe. I can breathe into the belly, expand through the ribs, and then as I come into the chest, there's this lifting, right? I'm kind of lifting up into the shoulders. And I'm feeling an upward rising, which is nice, which is good, but I am not actively pushing outward at the same time. So breathing into the belly, filling the ribs. And then as you get all the way up, you might feel the sternum. I want you to try to push out and down with the shoulders. So it's not an upward rising, but rather a down and out with the breath. So at the top of the inhale, I want you to emphasize this action. Let's try it together. Breathing in full through the nose, belly, ribs, and down and out, right? I can really feel that sense of pressing into my belt. All right, and just take a couple organic movements here, maybe churn the ribs a little. I realize that we're not moving, but you might notice you're working pretty hard, right? I get very exhausted as soon as I really try to force myself to breathe properly, because it's exhausting not just for the body, but your mind is thinking hard. So take it easy on yourself. Again, belly, ribs, down and out with the shoulders, up and into that thoracic region. And you should feel a push against your belt. On the exhale, it is from the top down. Now that you've felt this in your body, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to that original breath, which if it was like mine, it was up here. So now that we have this awareness, I want you to breathe into your chest. Now notice, is there a physiological change? I feel hurried, rushed, uneasy. And now, revert back. Breathe into the belly, ribs, right? Down and out with the shoulders. Top down on the exhale. So now that we've experienced this with our little hug of the belt, go ahead and untie yourself. And what you should notice is belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. This is the breathing pattern. Down to up to down. And you can go back and forth. Chest breathing, completely different, right? My physiological sensations are different than if I breathe deeply. So now that you've felt the hug and the squeeze, usually your muscle memory can kick in so that you know exactly what you're doing. But it wasn't until the hug that you were able to recognize it. So now, not only on your yoga mat, when I say take a deep breath in, I want you to know where that comes from. Remembering that in yoga, our postures, which is, I think, in this country where I live, is the first thing we think of when we hear yoga. Breath, our breath body, our prana, comes before our posture. So essentially what we're doing here is to help you accentuate and deepen your practice. This comes before posture. So practice your breathing, not just on the mat, but off the mat, while you're driving in your car, before you go to bed at night. And to further enhance, I want you to focus on extending your exhale, breathing into the count of 4, exhaling to the count of 6. This is going to give you that parasympathetic reset, calming the fight or flight, and bringing a little more balance and harmony to your body. Thank you for working with me. I hope you found this beneficial. And if you want to stick by what we do here, it's on and off the mat to help enhance our yoga practice. So like and subscribe, and I hope we work together soon. Namaste.